Hey there, Leslie Sansone Williams here. We're going to do day 5 today of the Unstuck 90-day devotional series by Kimberly Jones. That book is available on Amazon. Here it is, right here. Finding Purpose in Loneliness is today's devotional. And we're going to talk about Isaiah 41:10. So look that up. And here's a wonderful verse, which really ministers to me, and I hope it does to you too. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Bible promises keep us grounded despite our troubles. When God said not to be afraid, he knew what we were going to face. And some of these situations would make us tremble, make us fearful, make us doubt, yet we could stay strong because of what he said. Many of the Psalms were written as David found himself hiding from enemies who were intent on killing him. And one of those enemies was King Saul. If anyone knew times of loneliness, it would be this young man who grew up on the hills of Israel tending to his father's sheep. He was a shepherd. He was one of the youngest brothers of many brothers in the family. When Samuel went to David's father's house to anoint the future king of Israel, David was the missing link. The prophet could not anoint the future king until David was summoned, because God had called David to be king. And while Samuel told Jesse, David's father, to summon the brothers so that he could meet with them, so that Samuel could meet with them, they didn't summon, his father did not summon David from the field, because they looked at David as the baby brother, the one who's just a sheep herder. Yet God said about David, this is a man after my own heart. But David was alone doing what he did every day, taking care of the sheep. David was becoming a strong warrior as he wrestled the lion who was trying to kill the sheep on the hillside. He became accustomed to relying on God's strength while alone doing his father's business. When in the caves hiding from his enemies, he did not allow loneliness to rob him of his strength. He knew there was a purpose for being in the darkness. Boy, is that a sentence right there. Having walked in the last 3 years through widowhood, through the loss of my oldest daughter, through the loss of my youngest daughter in 1998, when she was 21. And so many people have had tragedies in their lives, but there's always a purpose because of, at the end, or while we're walking through something, God has a plan and a purpose for everything. It may be that other people are watching us and gathering information as to how we're doing this. It's not just about us. You too have purpose. You too face challenges. But when you understand there is a call on you for greater, you can rise up out of the darkness and take back all that has been stolen from you. When you were born, doctors heard a cry, but hell heard purpose, destiny, game changer, nation shifter, a person who can take a licking and keep on ticking. I love that. When God called you, he did not make a conference call. He didn't seek the advice of anybody else. He called you and only you for your selected purpose. Remember this, so that you may find your purpose in times of loneliness. Jeremiah 29:11 says he has a plan and a purpose for you. I want you to read that verse. Just Google it. If you don't have a Bible, you can go to Dollar Tree. Most of the Dollar Trees do have Bibles. Go pick one up. Try to get a larger one if you can, but they have some smaller ones you can carry around in your pocket or your purse or whatever you have, in your wallet even. So they're that small. So what could be the purpose in the loss of a loved one? It could be multi-purpose, honestly. I don't mean that they needed to die for you to have a purpose, or my children needed to die for me to have a purpose. But God can use what is overwhelming darkness at times to magnify Him and how you're coming through all of that. You know, how people watch what we do, and we're not always able to stand up perfectly straight while being in the darkness and walking, whether you're walking a walk of loss of a human, a dear one in your life, or multiple dear ones, loss of a child. I've lost both my adult children, my husband of 47 and a half years, but we had 47 and a half years, right? And this is how I look at it. I had my children for 21 years, my youngest daughter, and 48 years. Yes, 48 years for my oldest daughter. She had turned 48 in July and passed in November from cancer. I know moms and dads who have small babies and children battling cancer, whose children are going through multiple surgeries that my children didn't have to go through, that they won't have their children maybe for a long time. But I had mine longer, and I was blessed to have them. And for some reason, I was meant to outlive them. My beloved maternal grandmother, Frida, lost 2 twin babies to whooping cough back in, I guess it would be the 30s, probably the late 30s or mid 30s. 2 twin girls, you know, and it was something that she would mention, but she would not talk about. That was because it was so painful. And so her sister lost her son I think at 5 or 6 years old, but none of this was really talked about. My grandmother told me that story. My auntie and grandmother, when they were together, they would talk about some personal things, but not too much. My grandmother would say, "I've just had a hard life." She was a single mommy to my uncle until he was 6, and then she met my grandpa Hans in, I think, a German club in New Jersey. And then they married and had 3 daughters, and my mother was the baby until the twins were born, and then the twins passed at 6 months old. So there were no inoculations against a lot of these childhood diseases then, and that's a whole other topic that we won't get into. But loss, we've all experienced it, but God will bring you through that darkness, and He will use